guys, how's it going? Happy Friday. Hopefully you guys are having a good day so far. The weekend is approaching, so hopefully you guys have some plans. My only plans are work. I worked a lot this week. I already worked an extra shift, and then I got I did 3 shifts so far, and then I got 3 more this week, so that's gonna be fun. And I got 3 night shifts coming up. And look at and what do we have here? 3 scary true night shift horror stories. Well, that's good. I got the night shift literally tonight in about 6.5 hours, so that'll be a good time. We'll see what happens. But I've already had like annoying night shifts. I worked night shifts for like 3-4 years now, so nothing really that I can't handle. I've done it before, and I'm good, I think. So we got this. 3 scary true night shift horror stories. This came out, I think, during a night shift, or when I was doing a night shift as well, or coming in for night shift or whatever. And I was like, I want to watch this. I think this came out during my break when I wasn't uploading. So I was like, fuck, now I really want to go back to uploading so I can watch this video. So without further ado, starting. It is 24 minutes and 4 seconds. Hopefully it's not long like my last video was. It was an hour long. But that was a deep video, bro. That was a deep video. Damn. Okay. Well, Mr. Nightmare, we're back. Once again, happy Friday, and let's get started. Night shift. I think each story is about 8 minutes long here, so this ought to be fun. Fuck. Cadence T, or Cadence, right? Whatever.
My name is Cadence.
Thank you.
I work the closing shift at a small dive bar in the quieter part of my town. The place is right off the highway, but the parking lot also has a back entrance that's available to the general town. It's nothing fancy, just a dimly lit spot where the regulars know each other by name, and the jukebox has been playing the same rotation of classic rock for years. Most of our customers are locals, truckers passing through, and the occasional lost tourist looking for a stiff drink. I like it though. The routine is predictable, the tips are surprisingly decent, and I've learned how to handle the usual bar crowd. The talkers, the flirters, the quiet drinkers, and the ones who just want to be left alone. Weekends are obviously a lot more hectic, but the thing about working during the week is that I'm expected to work my night shifts alone. I don't even get a bar back to pop in now and again. Yeah, it's obviously easier work and slower during the week, but I miss the company of my coworkers.
Exactly. I feel like doing a night shift alone, I'm never alone during a night shift, and if I was, no. I literally would not know what to do with myself.
I tend to be pretty vigilant during my shifts because we do get the occasional bar fight considering the kinds of crowds we attract. That's why I clocked the guy immediately. It was sometime after 1 in the morning on a Tuesday when he walked in. If I had to guess, I'd say he was in his late 40s, but he was extremely clean cut and well groomed. Not the kind of look you'd expect from a guy his age in an area like this. He was wearing a black turtleneck underneath a black trench coat. Definitely well dressed, but casual about it. I'm not sure how to explain it, but he had this aura of sophistication about him that makes you think of money. Real money. Not the loud look at me kind. He glanced around slowly before walking swiftly over to the bar and taking a seat. I also remember him having oddly good posture, but that's neither here nor there. When I walked over, he glanced at the bottles behind me and ordered something top shelf without hesitation. As I was pouring his drink, he asked me if I liked working here with a smile on his face. It was a normal enough question, so I answered him honestly. I told him yeah, and smiled back. I then made a joke about being a bartender or something. I wish I could say I got a creepy vibe from him, but that's not the energy he was giving off. He genuinely seemed like a stand-up guy, kind of like the single dad at his kid's baseball game that gives the whole team a high five.
Okay.
He chatted with me for a bit, which I didn't mind since the bar was pretty quiet at that point.
And you're alone?
Eventually, he asked me if I ever thought about doing something bigger, which I admit was somewhat bizarre. Again though, not a totally creepy question.
Yeah, like, I mean, people like to make conversation. I've received questions like that. Do you like working here? What do you want to do? Like, that makes sense. That's normal.
For the nature of the situation. I gave him my standard bartender smile and told him I was happy for now. He nodded and sipped his drink, seemingly disappointed at my answer for reasons I didn't understand. After a long pause, he asked me what time I got off out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a little bit, it's night shift, and that's a little bit, meh. It could be fine. It could be like, oh, like, when do you get off? Okay, like, you're almost done. That's great. You know what I mean? Like, I've asked people, like, I'm like, oh, like, when are you done at? Not in a creepy way. I'm just kind of like, hey, when are you done at? Like, hey, when are you done at? No, I'm like, when, like, I just say, like, how much longer for your shift? And then if I say 2 hours, I'm like, okay, great, but that's not that bad, kind of like just making basic conversation.
Question surprised me. I hadn't picked up any kind of flirting from him whatsoever, so I was a little disappointed to discover that our conversation had just been another one of those empty attempts at getting my number. I smiled and gave him a vague answer, trying to brush him off in a friendly way without seeming uptight. Before he could answer, I busied myself and began wiping down the counter, but he didn't press. He just smiled like he already knew, then drained his drink and pulled out a crisp $100 bill, laying it gently on the bar like it was nothing. Then, without another word, he walked out into the night. I didn't really know what to make of the encounter. I know it sounds like nothing, but his demeanor was just so far off my radar that I was intrigued. Either way, I figured I was never going to see him again, and got on with my life. As it would turn out, though, I was wrong. About a week later, he came back. Only this time, he wasn't alone. There was a woman with him. She drew my attention since I hadn't seen her before. She looked like she was in her mid-30s, and was dressed in a way that didn't quite match her age. Trendy, but off, like someone trying a little too hard to blend in with a younger crowd. I watched her closely as the two of them approached the bar. Everything about her seemed calculated, from the way she smiled too easily to the way she leaned against the bar like we were already friends. As I was setting down napkins in front of them, the very first thing she said to me wasn't a hello or a drink order, but a compliment. She put on this overly joyful smile and said, "You're so pretty." Her fingers brushed against my arm as she said it, lingering just a second longer than normal.
That's normal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe not the touching part, but it's like, oh my god, you're so pretty. Like, oh, I know, thank you. Like you too, I guess, but I know I'm prettier. No, I'm kidding. But it's like, yeah, like, girls compliment each other like that all the time. But it's weird for guys. Like, a guy doesn't go up to a guy saying, hey, like, you're handsome. That basically just means you're gay. But a girl can say, you're pretty. It's just fine. But if a guy says that to another guy, it's like, I don't want to hear it from you. I already knew that, but
I laughed and thanked her, and I could instantly tell that something was off about this woman. The man didn't speak, which I thought was also a little strange, given that he had been so talkative last time. They ordered drinks and poured them, and that's when questions came flooding in. The woman asked me how long I'd been working here, along with how old I was, and a bunch of other small talk questions like that.
Again, those I don't mind either. Like, someone's asked me how long I've been there for. Someone's asked me my age before. I think nothing of it, literally, whatsoever.
I answered in short, polite sentences, but I got the sense that this wasn't small talk. She was studying me. At one point, she looked over at the man, and it seemed like they were communicating despite not speaking. She looked back at me and told me that she ran an exclusive event club. She leaned in a bit as she said it, lowering her voice as if to prevent her being overheard by another patron. She told me that she's always looking for young, fun people for private parties, and that I'd make a killing, 10 grand for a weekend. I
Wow.
let out a small, forced laugh and told her it sounded too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly.
She insisted that it was real, and told me that a bunch of girls like me worked for them. Her smile never faltered at any moment, which was starting to creep me out. She steered the conversation back to the job, circling around the same words. Fun, safe, exclusive. Then, casually, she said, "You should step outside for a second. There's someone who can explain it better."
Oh my god, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. I'm totally gonna go outside with some creepy dude, some creepy girl, and then meet some creepy other person outside. On a night shift. No, thank you.
My pulse kicked up. I wasn't playing around at that point. I didn't even bother pretending like I wasn't creeped out. "I'm good," I said in a firm voice. No smile on my face this time.
Damn.
Just then, a group of customers walked in, laughing and talking loudly. The woman's expression changed in an instant, her friendly mask slipping just slightly before she turned to the man beside her. Without another word, they left. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't unsettled after that.
You should be.
Those random people had just propositioned me for God knows what. I told my coworkers and my boss about the situation, and we all agreed to keep an eye out should those people return.
So is this not a night shift anymore? Or maybe I fucked up and missed something, but maybe it's not a night shift no more.
My boss assured me that he was always a 15-minute drive away should I need him, and the bar's security cameras were typically enough to deter any misbehavior. There wasn't really much I could do beyond that. It's not like those people had done anything illegal. I tried to push it out of my head, but a few nights later, after closing, I saw the car. It was parked across the street, engine off, just sitting there. I tried to tell myself it was nothing, but the feeling of being watched crawled over my skin like
It's
static.
something. It's something.
As I walked to my car, I kept my head down, my keys clutched tight in my hand. When I pulled out of the lot, I checked my mirrors. The car followed.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So GPS at a red light or stop sign or whatever. Open up your GPS because I don't condone drinking and driving. You shouldn't be on your phone when driving. So if you want to use it, it's still legal. But like at a red light, like pull up the nearest police station, or if you know where it is already, great. I know my next destination. Because now they're trying to follow you home, or they did something to your car. But they're probably trying to follow you home. So police station it is.
It stayed back just enough to avoid suspicion.
Yep.
But every turn I made, it was still there. I took a random turn onto a side street, and it followed. Another, still there. I started freaking out internally.
Police.
I knew it was them. I forced myself to stay calm, to think. Then, without hesitating, I navigated and pulled into the parking lot of a police station.
Thank
gripping
you.
the wheel so tightly my knuckles practically turned white.
That's excellent. You're doing everything good so far. I love it. Good.
The second I pulled in, the car sped off.
Yep.
Nothing happened after that for a while, but I knew it wasn't over. It turned out I was right.
Oh my god, yeah, this video's already over 8 minutes long, so I guess every story's not about 8 minutes. This one's over. Okay, well, at least she did the right thing the first time. Let's see what else she does.
It was a slow weekday shift. Barely anyone coming in.
Weekday
By
shift.
midnight, I was wiping
Okay.
down the counter, half thinking about closing early, when the door creaked open. It was the woman. I immediately sent my boss a text as inconspicuously as I possibly could. I looked back up, and the woman was staring at me with that same artificial smile. She walked slowly to the bar and sat down with her hands folded neatly. I was debating just telling her to leave when she said, "Thought I'd come check on you." My stomach started twisting.
Yeah.
I did my best to hide it. I told her we were about to close and that she had to leave. But she made this pouty face and asked for just one old-fashioned.
Can I stay? No, get out.
I thought about denying her, but I figured pouring the drink would stall her long enough for my boss to arrive. So I turned around and got started, trying to keep my cool.
Damn, so your boss is on his way at
And I
midnight?
heard it. The soft, unmistakable click of the front door shutting. I whipped around. The woman was gone. I felt this awful pit in my stomach as I stepped toward the entrance. Through the glass, I saw it. A black van idling just outside. Without thinking, I locked the door as quickly as I could. But then, metal rattling from the back door. Someone was trying to get in. I didn't think. I grabbed the heaviest thing I could, a metal shaker, and clutched it like a weapon as I dialed 911 with my other hand. There was no way the police would get there in time, so I thought about making a run for it out the front door, but I didn't for whatever reason. I was bracing myself for a fight when I saw headlights pulling into the lot. It was my boss. The sounds on the back door suddenly stopped, and a few seconds later, the van pulled out of the lot with a screech. I embraced my boss and told him what had happened, and he said he had gotten the license plate of the van as it was leaving.
Thank God.
When the cops arrived, my boss reviewed the security footage with them. It was worse than I had imagined. Just before the woman left, the cameras had captured two masked figures crouching near the front door, waiting. There was another person in the back who was banging on the door with his fist, clearly trying to flush me out to the front. It was downright horrifying. To make matters worse, the plate number my boss had caught turned out to be unregistered.
Fuck.
It's been quite a while since this incident, but no progress has been made. The The only good news to come out of the whole thing is that my boss doesn't make me work alone anymore. Despite that, I'm still extremely uneasy anytime I'm scheduled for a night shift. I still question how they knew I'd be working alone. It doesn't make any sense. Even now, I often think about what would have happened had I given in to fear and run out the front door.
Holy shit, 11 minutes. Oh my god, that was actually a crazy story, bro. So again, you said that two masked figures were just at the front door, and then there was a guy banging on the back door. So one girl, three guys, most likely, one guy in the back. The girl's outside, and then, yeah, like the girl, like Hayden said, the banging on the back door was supposed to make her run out the front door, which there was two guys there ready to basically snatch her. Holy fuck, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, so they were not playing around. Like they were coming after you, bro. Like they were coming for you, and they were not gonna take no for an answer. And they probably observed you. They probably watched you already several times leaving the store alone. Like when you were there the one night, you were there alone. When the guy came in, the guy and the girl, you were alone. Like they figured that you'd be alone because you've been alone. So they probably gathered, okay, she works the night shift alone. Which honestly, you should never work the night shift alone. I don't even care what job you're at. If you're alone, then you're fucked. Like, you're alone, bro. I don't even think that she did anything wrong. Because, again, not going out the front door saved her, basically. Because she was like, I don't know why I never did. Well, because you had a gut feeling that said, don't fucking go anywhere, otherwise you're gonna fucking die. And she probably would have if she opened that door. So, she waited it out, called the police, called the boss. Excellent. Everyone was on the way to help her. Fantastic. Good job. But W. Cadence, I don't even think there's anything else I would have done better. The first time she went to the police station, fantastic. That's what you do. Like, she did everything right in my eyes. I don't know if you guys have any complaints, but I think that was actually pretty good. But again, it can be scary. Night shifts like that can be scary, and night shifts and security can definitely be scary too, but it's like, I don't know, man. You just gotta be safe and go through it, bro. Now we got Jeremy.
I used to work the night shift at a gas station / convenience store off a quiet stretch of highway.
Yep, I can imagine that.
I used to because after what happened to me a few months ago, I won't work a night shift again. It's a small station, the kind that barely gets any business once it gets late. Most of my shift was spent restocking shelves, wiping down counters, and occasionally ringing up a trucker or traveler passing through. I remember the whole thing.
I love that sound effect. I love that sound effect, bro. It just makes it so like anxious and uneasy. I love it.
Vividly. It was just past 2:30 in the morning. By then, even the truckers had mostly dried up, and I was left with basically nothing to do. I scrolled mindlessly on my phone, trying to kill some time. At one point, I stepped outside for some air, rubbing my hands together against the cold. I exhaled a few times, watching my breath disappear in the cold. The parking lot was empty, just the pumps, the road, and the dark stretch of trees beyond. The neon sign flickered faintly, and I remember it being hazy out, like you could literally see the moisture in the air. Even with the highway not too far off, it was pretty silent out there. Right as I was about to walk back towards the store, I noticed something move out of the corner of my eye. I whipped my head around and realized there was a person standing behind one of the pumps. How had I not noticed him earlier? He was wearing a dark red hoodie with a hood up, and he had both hands shoved in his pockets.
Have you guys ever thought about the people that are in these horror stories? Like, for example, this creepy guy that's in the thing. He's watching this video and he's like, yo, I'm that creepy guy right there. Or the guy from the other one and the girl from the other video, and then they're literally watching this video right now. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be kind of weird? It's like they're literally in a horror story, like, as the bad guy, and it's like, I don't know, I'd feel weird. Like, imagine, like, I don't know. I never really thought about it, because you always just kind of think of the victim and stuff like that, but, like, it's probably happened before, where someone's, like, submitted a horror story, and then the person that was in the horror story, being the creep, watches the horror story.
There wasn't a car in sight, so he obviously wasn't fueling up. The only thing was, he didn't seem to be heading towards the store either. He was just standing there, half turned toward the store, like he was watching me. At first, I figured maybe he was waiting for someone, but something about the way he moved rubbed me the wrong way.
Like, was he hiding behind the gas pump, or just, like, staying in front of it, beside it? Like, trying to, like how?
He was kind of shuffling about in this circular pattern. I entered the store, but made sure to keep an eye on him through the glass. I kept track of him while pretending not to, hoping someone
Cameras?
would drive up and pick him up or something. But after a few minutes, he started walking toward the door. Slow at first, then suddenly pushing inside like he'd made up his mind all at once. He walked up to the counter, but didn't say anything right away, just stared at me like he was sizing me up. Then, in a rushed, almost rehearsed way, he muttered that his car had broken down just before the pumps. He said he needed a jump, or maybe just a little gas to get to the next town. I was literally shocked. He wasn't even trying to make his story believable. Like, I couldn't believe he actually expected me to buy his BS story. I offered to call a tow truck instead. No, he said, too quick, shaking his head. He just needed a flashlight, maybe some help checking under the hood. Something was definitely off, that much was true.
No.
The way he spoke, the way he watched my reaction, it felt like a test. To be fair though, people walking into gas stations at that hour are usually a little strange, and I started wondering whether he actually needed help and was just an odd person or on something. I asked him where his car was parked, and he told me it was just beyond the highway entrance. I was obviously skeptical, but then he pointed at the monitor behind me. I turned to look at the screen, and to my surprise, there actually was a car parked out there.
Yeah, but the car, it's probably just, it's 100% a setup. There's someone in that car, and as soon as you go over there to check it, or is a plan, it's a ploy to get you outside or a ploy, and then they're gonna rob the store. But if you leave the store, obviously you're gonna lock the door behind you and then use the key to go in, or they're just trying to rob you. Like, let's see what happens, but they're trying to either kidnap him, they're trying to get him out of the store so they can go in the store and possibly rob it. Like, maybe they're going to attack him if he has the keys or something. Like, I don't really know, but I feel like they're either going to rob him or try to kidnap him. Well, let's see if I'm right.
I thought to myself, oh crap, maybe this guy really does need help. And that's when it hit me. I had literally just been outside, and I would have remembered a car parked out there. I glanced back at the monitor and saw the slightest movement near the car's back bumper. Someone was crouching just out of view.
Told ya.
A cold wave of dread hit me.
Oh, God.
I forced a casual smile and agreed to help the guy, but not before telling him I needed to grab my phone from the back office. I turned slowly, not wanting to spook him. But the second I was out of his direct sight, I slammed my hand onto the emergency panic button under the counter. The alarm went off instantly, screeching through the store. I expected him to attack me, but what he did instead was even more unsettling. His nervous energy disappeared. No more fake urgency, no more shifting from foot to foot. He actually relaxed. His whole body language shifted, and then he smiled. Not a panic smile, not an embarrassed one either. A slow, knowing grin, like he had all the time in the world, like this was amusing to him. I was in shock. I didn't even have time to get physical with him. In one fluid motion, he turned and bolted. I ran to the monitors just in time to see both of them take off. Not toward the car, but into the woods behind the station. The car just sat there, engine off, headlights off. No one inside. By the time the police arrived, it was exactly as I saw it. The car was still there, but the men were gone. No footprints leading away, no sign of them anywhere. And then one of the officers pointed something out. Something I hadn't noticed before. The front passenger door was open. There had been a third person inside the whole time. The police took my statement down, I turned over the surveillance footage, and that was that. A few days later, they followed up with me. They had the car towed and ran the plates. Turned out, it had been reported stolen nearly a week earlier, over 100 miles away. No one had come forward to claim it. No reports of missing persons. No other crimes linked to it. Just an abandoned vehicle in the middle of nowhere with no explanation. That was months ago, and still nothing. I don't know why convenience stores are such popular targets, but I can say for sure that I will never work another night shift again.
Yeah, lucky for you, you have that option. I don't have that option, so if I want a job, I don't have that option, basically. Or if I want my current job, yeah, I don't have an option. So, here's what it is. And night shifts are not that bad though. Like they really aren't. Like I got my coworkers with me. Everybody has an on-call manager, right? So it's like I feel okay. Yeah. Now the issue is if you're working in a place that's open overnight. That's the issue. That's mainly the issue. If you're in a place that's open, if you're in a place that's closed, like you're basically chilling. Like basically all threats are outside. If there's any threat outside, you obviously take care of it. You call the police as needed, whatever. Not even just in security, just anywhere. Like again, here, like you're inside, but the store's open. If you're closed and then you're inside the store, which wouldn't make any sense, then it's like at least you wouldn't have to worry about it, right? But typically the front door is closed though. Like a lot of gas stations I go to, the door is closed. And then the guy has to like flip a switch from inside to let them in. And that's usually for night shifts, so I think they're pretty safe, to be honest with you guys. I think gas stations are pretty safe to work at. But like for example, being at a gas station right now, it's 1:30 in the morning. I would not feel easy about it. Like I'd be nervous about it too, 100%. So I would not feel like settled. I would not, feel okay. Now you got Kells, but yeah, he did the right thing. Press the panic button.
This happened a couple weeks ago. I worked the night shift at Walmart. It's not the worst job in the world, but after a while, it starts to feel like you're just floating through time. The nights blend together. Same shelves, same routine, same dull hum of the overhead lights. Hopefully something better comes along. I usually hang out in and stock the electronics section.
So it sounds like you were asking for something different to happen, and it did. So I guess you got what you wanted.
Which is nice because it's quieter than the other areas. People don't exactly come rushing in at 2 a.m. to buy phone chargers and Bluetooth speakers. Most of the customers are either night owls killing time or truckers grabbing last-minute supplies before heading back on the road.
So you're telling me that you work at a 24-hour Walmart? I don't think we have any 24-hour Walmarts in Canada.
That's why I noticed him. At first, I didn't think much of it. Just another guy wandering the aisles, probably waiting for someone. But after a few minutes, I realized he wasn't shopping. He wasn't even pretending to. He just kept appearing. Every time I glanced up, he was lingering nearby, hovering in the next aisle over, or standing a little too still by the clearance section. He wasn't looking at anything. He was just standing there, watching me. I told myself I was overthinking it. The store is big, and maybe he was just taking his time.
Right.
The way he moved, always just close enough for me to notice. Never actually picking anything up. It set something deep in my gut on edge. I was waiting for him to just get on with it and ask for my number, but he never approached me. It was like he wanted me to see him, which didn't make any sense to me.
I'm assuming this is the girl and the guy's a guy. So.
I went to radio someone about it, but realized that the batteries in my radio must have been dead because it wasn't working.
Great.
Eventually, I started debating whether I should go find a manager when I felt a hand wrap around my arm. I nearly jumped out of my skin, but before I could react, a woman's voice rang out loud, friendly, overly familiar. She exclaimed, "There you are," before going on a little spiel about how she had been looking all over for me. I turned, completely thrown off, and saw a woman I had never seen before in my life. She was smiling, her grip firm on my arm, like we were old friends reuniting. Before I could say anything, she leaned in and whispered, her tone dropping to something low and urgent. "That guy's been recording you. Follow me." My stomach dropped. I turned my head slightly, just enough to glance back. The man was still there, only now he wasn't even pretending to browse. He was staring right at me. A cold wave of fear crept over me. I let her pull me. I didn't even question it. The way she grabbed my arm, the way she spoke so loud and casually, like we were two old friends reuniting, I clung to it. I was beyond grateful that someone had realized what was going on and put herself in an uncomfortable position just to help me. She kept up the act as we walked, rambling about something, maybe a trip she had taken, maybe an inside joke we supposedly shared. I barely processed the words. My thoughts were stuck on him. Had he really been recording me? That was creepy as hell. I wanted to know if he was still following us, but I couldn't muster the courage to turn around just yet.
So I'm not going to say the woman is sus by any means, because right now it seems like she's helping. But at the same time, you got to be cautious and you got to be kind of weary. Like, is this a setup? Because even people that seem to have good intentions may not. So in that case, be careful, keep your guard up, and make sure that there's no ill intent.
The woman steered me through the aisles, moving fast. I barely noticed where we were going, only that we were going, that the distance between me and that man was growing. In all honesty, I was kind of expecting her to quit the pretending to know me at some point, but she kept it up. At one point, it was getting a little uncomfortable, so I glanced behind me. To my relief, that man was no longer following. The woman kept pulling me forward, though. I told her that we were good now and that we should probably go find my manager, but she just squeezed my arm tighter, telling me that he was lurking somewhere.
Yep, it's a
I
setup.
thought to myself, so what? What's he gonna do in a store full of employees? I was obviously worried at first because no one was around, but now that I wasn't alone, I started realizing that there wasn't much of a point in being scared anymore. I told her this, but she continued moving. I told her I was serious and planted my feet, twisting my arm slightly to loosen her grip. You can let go now, I said, but she didn't. She smiled at me, but something in it was off. Come on, just a little further, she said, basically tugging me at that point.
No.
I glanced around. The store was basically dead. We had moved past the registers, past the self-checkout, past the aisles that saw the most foot traffic. The warehouse section loomed ahead, dimly lit and nearly empty. Beyond that was the side exit, the one without cameras, the one employees used for loading shipments. That's when it dawned on me. She was leading me straight to the exit. I didn't think. I screamed for help as I yanked my arm free of her grasp with all my might. She lost her grip just enough for me to pull free. I didn't waste another second. I turned and ran toward the front of the store. As I fled, she yelled out something behind me. She yelled for me to come back, followed by my name, which I hadn't given her. I kept running until I saw one of my
Name tag?
coworkers who was running toward me, most likely reacting to my screaming. I told him to call security, which he promptly did. That woman was long gone, though. By the time I told my story to the security guards, that woman and that man were nowhere in sight. They reviewed the security footage, and just as I suspected, the woman and man walked into the store together. She had been with him.
Told you. I fucking told you. At 20:48, I was like, you know what? This is probably a setup. It seems good, that she's grabbing you, and at first I was like, oh, this is a W woman. And I was like, oh, you know what, yeah, like at first she seems really good, she's grabbing you, like, yeah, that guy's been recording you. Like everything seemed, she did everything correct in the beginning, and then she kept holding you, which is kind of sus, because it's like, why are you still holding me? Like, we're free now. No, just a little further. I'm good, sis, I'm good. I told you I'm good, let go of me. No, I insist, bitch, let the fuck go of me, bitch.
Him the entire time. The man's face was clear as day in one of the frames, but hers was always turned away. I had a feeling she was the mastermind behind the whole thing, so I was infuriated that the cameras hadn't picked her face up. Every second of it had been planned. The police got involved, and the whole thing went down as a failed abduction attempt. I'm still waiting for a resolution about it. That man should definitely be easy to track down, given his face was caught on camera. I have no idea how that woman knew my name. That's what terrifies me the most.
Name tag.
Those people hadn't just picked me at random. I was a direct target.
Fuck, bro. Oh my god. Honestly, like, stories like this just get me, like, honestly, like, really anxious, because it's like, how do you know who's after you? Like, you just don't. You could go outside your house at 1 a.m. Like, I basically went outside. What time did I go outside? How long has this video been? 34 minutes now? Around 12:45, I was outside shoveling the driveway a little bit, because, again, we still had that massive snowstorm, which we're still trying to dig out of. We were stuck in the car. The car was stuck yesterday. The car was stuck today. Yeah, it was still stuck, and it's been like a couple days. But it's not melting because it's still way below freezing, so the snow cannot melt. Once a bulk of the snow melts, then we're good to go. No more, no more panicking. No more like, oh, where are we gonna park? Because now there's like not a lot of parking because the snow was taking up some parking spots. So one spot where there's 3 spots, only 2 cars can fit. Maybe 2 cars easily. should be able to fit, but again, now with the snow, it's like, ugh. Even 2 cars is kind of hard to fit in there, because it's like a huge block of snow is blocking the freaking thing, so it's like, and then not to mention, it's also frozen because it's fucking cold as fuck, so it's not even just snow that you can just like shovel away, it's ice that the wheels get caught in, like, it kind of hits the ground, there's snow here, tires appear spinning, just spinning, it's not moving, it's not going nowhere. That's what happened. That's what I was literally involved with like 4 hours ago. So that's good. Jesus, it's easy to forget how real a threat human trafficking is. We're going to the first story. So smart for going to the police first and now running out of the building. Thank you. And so she was actually pretty good. We're hiding behind the chainsaws. Yeah, that's true. She was smarter to call the cops. She was smarter to call the boss first because he's the one that arrived before the cops did, and he got the plate of the number. That's very true. Otherwise, no plate, no nothing. The last story was so scary. The fact that the ops apparent rescuer was actually in cahoots with a creepy guy is horrifying. You're so thankful that someone is helping you, only to realize that they're in league with the perpetrator. It's the stuff of horror movies and serves as a deeply sad reminder that if ever we find ourselves in trouble, we shouldn't be too ready to trust someone who is all eager to help and should still be on our guard. Exactly. Like what I said. It's great that this woman's helping you. She's probably nothing bad. She turned out to be. But she's probably nothing bad, you know, she's helping you, but then keep your guard up. Like, where is she bringing you? Like, and then the fact that she kept talking to you in that way, even when he was, like, long gone, it's like, what are you doing? Like, he's gone now. Like, you can let go of me. In the first story, the young woman had a lot of common sense and knew exactly what to do in that case. The first time that they followed her, she drove directly into a police station. The second time, she quickly locked all the doors and called the police again. Very smart and very brave thing to do. Exactly. So she did everything right. I thought the same thing, and I was kind of like, you know what, someone always complains, so let's see what the complaint's going to be. The person in story 1 did everything right, stayed calm, alert, and not too quickly. That's exactly how it should be done. Exactly. First story is real, trafficking is so sad. The last story is freaky as hell. The one thing you would want in that situation for someone like that woman to save you, you would never think someone that would do that would be in on it. Exactly. Shows that you really can't trust people. Keep up the good work, Mr. Nightmare. I love the first story because it showed a level of logical thinking that so many people in these stories lacked. She tried her best to stay calm and thought quickly. It was refreshing to see someone with such common sense. Who needs a Valentine when you got Mr. Nightmare to keep you company? Thank you for the videos as always. Again, I have night shift literally in 6.5 hours. Is it going to come back to bite me in the butt and be like, oh, night shifts are fine? Maybe. We will see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks you for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like, comment down below, be sure to subscribe. Turn on post notifications, and let me know if you guys have any horror stories that you guys want me to react to, or animations, or whatever. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Deuces. Peace.